For those who aren't familiar, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes is a revamped version of the classic 1998 PlayStation 1 game Metal Gear Solid. This gem graced the Nintendo Gamecube in 2004, giving players a chance to relive the legendary story of Solid Snake, but with a fresh new twist. To some fans, it is a great remake to the classic that is Metal Gear Solid. To others, it makes changes that take away from the main aspects of the original. In today's episode of Nostalgia Road, we'll be breaking down all of the details,
from the enhanced gameplay mechanics to the upgraded graphics, and everything in between. So buckle up because it's time to infiltrate Shadow Moses once again.
Kept you waiting, huh? Alright, I've infiltrated Shadow Moses. What's next?
Solid Snake is being held captive somewhere near the Metal Gear. Your goal is to stop the terrorist from launching Metal Gear and save Solid Snake if possible.
What? How did the legendary Solid Snake get captured?
His dummy thick-ass cheeks alerted the guards. It's up to you, Nostalgia Snake.
It's me, Mario!
Oh, so you've played Super Smash Bros. Melee before?
Shut up in there, will ya?
During the 6th generation of the console wars, Nintendo needed to change it up in an already losing battle against PlayStation. They started to release more mature games that tried to hook the PlayStation 2 demographic of players in.
And of course, Mario will never start shooting hookers.
From publishing M-rated games like Eternal Darkness, to getting exclusive rights to games like the Resident Evil series, even getting complete remakes of their ports. However, there was still one series that we had not seen on Nintendo's home console since the NES. Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes was a joint effort between two renowned gaming companies, Silicon Knights and Konami. Silicon Knights, famous for Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, brought their expertise in gaming development, while famous game director Hideo Kojima, the mastermind behind the Metal Gear Solid series, provided the original source material and guidance. This unique partnership set the stage for the creation of a truly memorable gaming experience.
Famous director and writer Ryuhei Kitamura also directed the cutscenes in-house at Konami. His vision brought more of a John Woo style to the remake. To some fans, the change was great, but to others, it really took away from the original game's story.
One of the things that makes any Metal Gear Solid game great is the cast of voice actors and dialogue. Konami was able to get the original voice actors back to re-record their lines from the iconic first entry. Their updated lines helped bring the Metal Gear Solid remake into the 6th generation of gaming, while also re-delivering some iconic lines from the franchise.
Each one of these supporting characters, as well as the voice actors, help evolve this story into what it is in both Metal Gear Solid and the Twin Snakes.
Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes follows the story of Solid Snake, a former elite soldier and member of Foxhound, a covert special forces unit. In the gripping tale, Snake is summoned to the remote Alaskan island of Shadow Moses, where a rogue terrorist group led by the enigmatic Liquid Snake has taken control of a nuclear-equipped walking tank called Metal Gear Rex. What are the terrorists' demands? The remains of the legendary soldier Big Boss and the details of the advanced Metal Gear Rex weapon. As Snake starts to infiltrate Shadow Moses, he encounters a captivating cast of characters, each with their own motivations and secrets. Among them is the mysterious cyber ninja who assists and challenges Snake throughout the mission. Snake's journey becomes a quest to uncover the truth behind the terrorist plot, connection between Liquid Snake and himself as clones of Big Boss, and the mystery surrounding the Metal Gear Rex project. Along the way, Snake forges alliances with key figures, including his old comrade, Otacon, a brilliant scientist with a deep emotional investment to the mission. He also encounters Meryl, a skilled soldier and the niece of Colonel Roy Campbell, Snake's commanding officer. But not everyone is as they seem. Revolver Ocelot, the cunning and sadistic villain, serves as both a formidable adversary and a source of hidden agendas. Throughout the game, Snake must navigate a labyrinth of alliances, betrayals, and moral dilemmas. As Snake dives deeper into the truth, he must confront not just the enemy, but also his own past and inner demons. The revelations about his identity, his purpose, and the darker truths behind the mission challenge him in unexpected ways. The story's emotional depth is further enriched by the tragic tale of Gray Fox, now known as the Cyber Ninja, whose tortured past becomes intertwined with Snake's own. As the plot thickens, Snake faces off against Liquid Snake in an epic final battle atop the towering Metal Gear Rex. The confrontation tests both their physical skills and their understanding of the shared past. Fate of Shadow Moses, the world, and the truth itself hangs in the balance as these two brothers face off in a cinematic showdown. The game's primary setting, Shadow Moses Island, is a masterclass in level design, with its atmospheric snow-covered landscapes, intricate interiors, and dark secrets. The island becomes a character in its own right. Each area offers a unique challenge, whether it's navigating through blizzards, infiltrating a heliport, or exploring the claustrophobic underground facility. The Twin Snakes offers a non-linear approach to exploration, allowing players to tackle objectives in different orders and find alternate paths. This freedom adds depth to the gameplay, making each playthrough feel fresh and engaging. Whether you prefer a stealthy approach or a more action-packed style, the game's level design accommodates various playstyles. The levels in Twin Snakes are peppered with the environmental puzzles that require players to think critically and creatively. From unlocking doors using keycards to finding hidden passages, these puzzles add an extra layer of challenge to the gameplay. It is a true test to both your combat skills and your problem-solving abilities. The levels in Twin Snakes are not just wide, but they're also vertically diverse. Players can climb ladders, crawl through vents, and use hanging pipes to access new areas or gain tactical advantages over enemies. This vertical design encourages players to think in 3 dimensions, enhancing the immersive experience. The Twin Snakes is filled with iconic set pieces that are etched into gaming history, from the harrowing communication tower ascent to the epic sniper battle on a snowy field. Each set piece is thoughtfully crafted to deliver unforgettable moments. The level design maximizes the drama and excitement, leaving players with lasting memories. Your first boss encounter puts Solid Snake face to face with the cunning and sadistic Revolver Ocelot. This skilled marksman taunts Snake with his incredible gunplay and flashy tricks.
Wait a second, I can do that. What makes him so special? See, Ocelot.
Ocelot's unpredictable behavior keeps players on their toes, forcing them to utilize their wits and reflexes in this thrilling duel. That is, unless you know how to use the MGS2 first-person feature to your advantage and make light work of the revolver-twirling maniac. Up next is our first encounter with the colossal Vulcan Raven. Our first encounter with Raven involves a tank, where the player must throw grenades into the tank's interior, blowing up the 2 gunmen inside and leaving Raven apparently alive because he cannot die. Following our first fight with Raven, we are then met by the cyborg ninja formerly known as Gray Fox. This is a pretty simple boss fight where you pretty much try to take him down using your fists or weapons you have on you, dodging his stealth suit and his flash-forward attacks. After making our way through Shadow Moses more and meeting up with Meryl, finally run into one of the greatest boss battles in gaming history, Psycho Mantis. This psychic mastermind dives into Snake's mind, reading his every move.
Wait a second. How can you read my mind? How do you know I like the guy game? You know what? I've had enough of this.
To outsmart Psycho Mantis, players must unplug their controllers and switch ports, breaking the 4th wall and leaving Mantis vulnerable to Snake's attacks. It is a brilliant and immersive battle that challenges players in an unexpected way, giving Metal Gear Solid fans and players a taste of what is to come for future boss fights in different entries.
Strange. Such a nostalgic feeling.
Huh. Forgot there was a second disc. Well, might as well swap it out. That's better.
Following our battle with Psycho Mantis, we then venture on. Making our way deeper into Shadow Moses, we run into our next two mini-bosses. The first one being our very first encounter with Sniper Wolf, the legendary sniper.
Okay.
We eventually pick her off with the sniper rifle after she picked off Meryl with one. And unfortunately, because we're not as sneaky as we thought, we eventually get captured, which is followed by the next mini-boss fight, which is a torture scene. After losing his arm in our first boss fight with Revolver Ocelot, he decides the best course of action is to give us shock therapy.
Go ahead. Do your worst.
And much like any stressful situation in life, you mash the A button to survive. After going through that a few times and having Otacon help us escape with a ketchup bottle, we are then on our way to the next boss fight. Slowly making our way through the communication towers, we are then met by Liquid Snake for the very first time. And unfortunately, he brought a helicopter to an RPG fight. Taking place on top of one of the roofs of the communications tower, Snake takes out the helicopter with a Stinger RPG. But as you're starting to realize in this series, nobody really dies. Which brings us right up to our next boss fight with Sniper Wolf. A sharpshooter with unmatched skills, this boss fight takes place in a vast snowy field, testing players' sniping abilities and patience. It's a battle that demands precision and nerve, as tensions rise as the player must locate and eliminate Sniper Wolf while avoiding her lethal shots.
Where is she? That stupid duck keeps getting in my way. Stupid dog. Made me look bad.
After putting her down like an injured wolf, we then make our way closer and closer to the underground facility, making our way into a snowy warehouse where we then meet Vulcan Raven for the second time. This time, instead of a tank, he brought a Gatling gun. In this boss fight, you must use the environment to your advantage while dodging Raven's devastating attacks. It's a real test of endurance and tactics like no other. It's also the same time I show Raven what a Stinger missile is, just like I showed Liquid. Once again stating never to bring a gun to an RPG fight. After laying that so Raven to rest, we finally make our way down to the underground facility that holds Metal Gear Rex and the nuclear bomb. And after finally playing hot potato with the PAL key to disarm the nuke, we accidentally arm it, because that was the intention all along.
They played us like a damn fiddle!
That's right, we were the only one that could arm the nuclear weapon. And now it's time for Snake to destroy the one thing that he pretty much started. And it is here where we finally have our climactic showdown. Liquid Snake versus Solid Snake. Mano y mano. Just kidding, Liquid Snake uses Metal Gear Rex to have an advantage on us. In a breathtaking sequence, Snake must face off against his clone brother and the terrifying war machine that is Metal Gear Rex. This epic final battle combines intense gunplay, strategic maneuvers, and a heart-pounding test of skill and determination as Snake fights to save the world from annihilation. After finally destroying Metal Gear Rex with the help of Gray Fox, who tried to help us squish the competition. We then find out that a nuclear bomb is about to go off on Shadow Moses and we have to escape just in time, which more than likely won't happen. And being that Liquid is also still not dead, we have a fisticuffs fight on top of the destroyed Metal Gear. After destroying your twin brother Liquid Snake in a game of Wii Boxing, you then make your way out of the Shadow Moses facility, trying to escape before the bomb explodes. And since you really can't keep a bad guy down, Liquid Snake chases you out of the building as well. And one more last hoorah of a boss fight. And depending on how your torture scene went, you either have Meryl or Otacon driving the Jeep while you shoot. And after all that, the only thing that really killed Liquid Snake was Fox Die and the Jeep rollover. These are some of the most memorable boss fights in gaming history. They not only excelled in what making the game what it is today, but they also shaped future games' boss fights for years to come.
What the hell? I like that. You're not Colonel. Colonel, there you are.
Nostalgia, Snake. How are you doing? Did you finish the mission?
I did. I destroyed Metal Gear, but I can't find Solid Snake anywhere.
You need to. The future of YouTube depends on him.
Fine. I'll keep looking.
The music in the Twin Snakes plays a vital role in setting the game's atmosphere and invoking emotions. From suspenseful tracks during stealthy infiltrations to heart-pounding tunes during intense boss battles, the music complements the game flawlessly. It's no exaggeration to say that the soundtrack pulls players deeper into the world of Metal Gear Solid. You also simply cannot discuss the music of the Twin Snakes without mentioning the iconic themes, from the nostalgic Encounter theme to the iconic main theme.
Hey, Liquid.
These memorable melodies have become synonymous with the Metal Gear Solid series and have a special place in the hearts of fans.
Thanks to Nintendo Gamecube's improved audio capabilities, the Twin Snakes provided players with an even more enhanced audio experience. The dynamic range and clarity further enhanced the emotional impact of the game's dramatic moments. It is a testament of dedication and excellence for sound design with this remake.
The impact of the music in the Twin Snakes goes beyond the game itself. The soundtrack has garnered critical acclaim and is even performed in concerts dedicated to video game music. Its legacy lives on as a shining example of how video game soundtracks can elevate the overall gaming experience. Since the Twin Snakes is using the same game engine from Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, the game is different from its PS1 counterpart and added things like lockers to hide in, collecting dog tags from enemies, skipping codec calls, a new game over screen, new and re-recorded dialogue, and hanging in first-person mode.
Some of these additions were for the better, but for others it made the game too easy. In some cases you could take down a boss in less time than the original.
Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes did something relatively new to the gaming industry back then. It took a game that most would argue was a masterpiece and tried to make it better in every way, shape, and form. And even though it didn't do that with every aspect, it certainly did make the game better as a whole. Nowadays, it is a little bit harder to go back to the PS1 days and try and play the classic. But to me, The Twin Snakes is a game that will stick with me forever. It not only gave me a cinematic experience with a video game that I've never experienced before, it opened my mind up to deeper storytelling didn't really think could be done in video games. It's also why it's one of my favorite games of all time. If you're a fan of stealth action, gripping narratives, and unforgettable characters, The Twin Snakes is an absolute must-play. And remember,
The strong man doesn't need to read the future. He makes his own.
Wait a minute. You're not Snake. Who the hell are you?
The name's Pliskin.
What a thrill.
What is that? We're way too late. Maybe next time.
You have one last mission. Subscribe to Nostalgia Road and share this video with your friends.
I'm searching and I'll